Hello and welcome to Torment, Tides of Numenera. So we got the magmatic amulet for Drac again. And apparently the changing god borrowed it a long ago and forgot to return it. But now we gotta return it. Well, Castor, what news have you? Have you managed to obtain the cortex? Or are you ready to surrender the amulet? Would you accept the cortex we discussed earlier in place of the amulet?
Making a note.
Ah, yes. That would indeed be sufficient. Should you manage to obtain it, it would certainly be a fine substitution for the amulet, but I have doubts. I have tried and failed to acquire it before.
I'll remember that.
The agents I employed previously were not up to the task. This was an occasion of great surprise to me. They were tough, capable explorers, and I thought them more than sufficient to the job. But if you gain access to the anchorage and the cortex, I suggest that you employ guile before violence. I would hate to see you fail as they did. Let's talk about the amulet. I don't wanna steal the power core of the space station. Are you prepared to fulfill your end of the bargain then? Yeah, you can have the magmatic amulet.
I'm ready to pick my path.
He holds it up to the light, turning and admiring the amulet's cunning design. A wide smile on his face he says, "Can you feel the power of this thing? It twists and curls and snares the secret place of the world. This will do nicely, oh yes." He places it in a flat pouch at his hip, and no shape distorts the pouch, as if it were merely a gateway to some larger place. This concludes your part of the transaction. Let me honor mine. Come with me. Alright, you gotta do me a solid. I mean, like, that's a lot just for an introduction. Oh, we're going in right away? Alright. Oh. This way. Throw any weapons and you die in short order. Hey, Mamuvira. The Mamuvira is a medium-sized woman, regal in bearing. She scrutinizes you with a look that manages to convey both admiration and disdain. Her eyes cut to Matkina, a slight tightening around her eyes suggests a wariness toward Matkina. So he escaped Miela West. A shame he chose to come here. Okay. She knows about me. Though her words are cultured, her voice is rough, perhaps an artifact of low upbringing. Dracogen was effusive in his praise for your skills. I've been following your movements myself. You moved a trade post out of the depths. There are very few people who could manage such feat. The way she looks at you and holds herself suggests that she might be very or even slightly afraid of said accomplishment. The bloom has surely turned against me if he can do what I could not. Her eyes are piercing as they sweep across you. I've dealt with Castos before, of course. I found your kind to be tenacious, resourceful and skilled. And I know the one you're looking for. I can tell you where she's hiding. Is this where you hid your honor, your loyalty? Come on, don't be like that. Like, we don't like her, but we're just using her. She seems to stiffly yawn. So high and mighty for one who has betrayed everyone she's ever worked for. You have no idea how deep my betrayal goes, Kina. Oh, whoa. Leave her alone. You don't know her as well as you think. What? She's talking about Matkina. Matkina says nothing, only glaring at the Mamavira. My betrayals are nothing compared to hers. Watch that tongue cast off, her blades are always hungry. She smiles patronizingly at Mutkina. Anyway, you came here for another purpose. You need my help to find the first of your kind. What do you want in return? The first is alive then? She pretends to hide a contemptuous smirk. Drakengan told you otherwise, didn't he? He knows far more than he lets on. He also knows better than to give away my bargaining chips. Your information is correct. The first is alive, but like Drakengan, I'm not inclined to giving away my secrets for free. I understand she's been hidden from your kind for over a century. I have no qualms about betraying her, but the cost will be steep. I've lost someone, an important member of my organization. You've no doubt heard of the recent changes in the Bloom. Perhaps you have even heard of the rumor that it has turned against me. To some extent, that is true. Ishan is a victim of that betrayal. She looks at the floor, saddened. Ishan was my best scholar, a genius with Numenera, though through my own means I've divined that he still lives, but I cannot reach him. The Bloom has taken Ishan to its heart. I've lost more men than I care to think about while trying to recover him. As a cast-off, however, you have certain advantages my minions do not. Her tone becomes curt. With the recent fluctuations in the Bloom layout, I no longer know the path to reach the heart. I suggest you talk to someone who knows the Bloom well, if you cannot discover the way yourself. I can no longer afford to send anyone who is not otherwise expendable. The first is powerful. If you tell me where she is, I'm sure together we can rescue Ishan more easily. Her laughter rings throughout the fortress like a deaf's knell. Oh, she is powerful. Of that have no doubt, cast off, and I'm sure she will not be as helpful to you as you think. Her smile disappears as quickly as it arrived. I do apologize if I gave the impression that this was a discussion. Her voice hardens. I have made my offer. Rescue my friend from the Bloom's heart, and you shall have the location of your precious first. Fail, and you will not. Do I make myself clear? Her voice returns to its ordinary tones. Now, if you excuse me, I have an organization to maintain.
I'll remember that.
She addresses Matki. The Manwira addresses her guards. See that the cast-off doesn't get lost on his way out. Can we just go in and kill everybody? Whoa! Oh. It looked like the bottom of the stairs were burning, but on second look it looks more of an orange force field. That's it? We're kicked out? That's bullshit.
It's a plan.
Cody, do you know anything about this? I need you to steal me that guy. Damn it.
Let's do it.
Damn. So, obviously, our best option possibly is that guide guy with the merchants. That's the best I can think of. He's the number one.
Slayer.
If he doesn't know how to get there, then maybe know someone who does. Grizzly squints at you. You spoke to her, didn't you? The Bloom. I mean, she listened. Maybe the Bloom listens to those who warrant attention. How about that? No one the Memovir wants to get rid of him. Gisler barks a laugh. Ha! Maybe so. I like your confidence, but others around here might not. See, there ain't nobody else who can talk to the Bloom like that. Except maybe the Memovira. She don't enjoy competition, if you catch my meaning. He shrugs and the lopsided grin returns. Now, what can I do for you? I know all about the Bloom and her maws. Show me my... Have you seen... Show him the transdimensional scalpel. Have you ever seen a weapon like that? Grizzler's eyes widen when he spies the scalpel and he waves it away. Get rid of it! Tss. Can't you hear how much she hates it? He holds his hands to his ears as if in pain. You don't actually hear anything, but you assume he must be referring to the voices of the bloom, or he's completely insane. I heard of a weapon like that. Grizzler whispers, eyes still locked on the scalpel. Stories mostly. It's been around the bloom for a long time. That knife can cut open her maws if you fix it up right. She don't like it, and she's no friend to one who wields it. Do you know how to reach the heart of the bloom?
I'll remember that.
Folks say there's a maw that will take you to the heart, if the stories are true. You can only see if it wants you. His easy smile fades. I haven't been there myself, but when I need something from the bloom, I go to the place where she is most likely to hear me. He nods his head toward the colossal statue on the other side of the vast interior space. The shrine of Chilla the Great. Maybe somebody there can set you right. What will I find in the bloom's heart? I call myself a bloom guide because I know this sack of guts, but the deep places are different. More alive, more conscious, full of voices, packs of them that have wrapped themselves in flesh so they can wander around and feed. The heart is where memoirs are made and unmade. He pauses uncomfortably. If you go down there, you ain't coming back until the bloom is finished with you, one way or another. Alright. I suppose I'm crazy.
Sure.
So, basically this is a suicide mission. I wonder if the memoir is even missing her friend, like the scholar guy. Possibly not. Just go to the heart of the bloom. How do you do it for me? Okay, so maybe Rugmean. Oh, look, that looks. Get your face out of mine.
Here comes the boredom
So what about
slayer.
that Observer and Spec? We talked with her a lot in the past. You've been talking to the Memvira. She sent you to claim something from the heart, hasn't she? Or rather, someone. The old woman shakes her head. Too frightened to go herself, for she knows what will happen if she does. The cycle continues, cycles within cycles. How did you know? Even in the Memvira's fortress, the bloom has eyes and ears, despite all her attempts to burn them away. The Spec shudders as if she can feel the pain herself. All the bloom sees and hears, it whispers to itself. And to me.
Making a note.
One gets to the heart in the same way one gets anywhere in the bloom. Maw will take you, and the maw you want is just over there. The Spec waves a hand toward the nearest corner of the shrine. You feel like a blindfold has been suddenly pulled from your eyes, and a wave of vertigo nearly knocks you to the floor. When you look up again, a maw has appeared. Ugh. Aren't you a little bit concerned about that? Eyes sparkling, the Spec reaches out a hand to steady you. Sometimes the blue hides things from us. It whispers, distract our attention. Our senses perceive what's there, but our minds don't. I like to think that I would have noticed that thing. The maw has been there all along? So it has, but only my eyes could see. Even now, the others are blissful, unaware. She gestures at the cultists. Some of them catch a glimpse now and then, but the whispers make them forget. Where does it lead? Exactly where you want to go, to the heart, to the source of all the whispers. And what does it eat?
Making a note.
Predators, but only those who are feared above all others. A person, a creature, the maw doesn't care. Getting them into the maw, that's the hard part. I think I'd take a look at that maw. Yeah, I think a mass of flesh protrudes from the wall, surrounded by waving tendrils. It appears to be another maw, just as the Spec told you. If this maw wants a predator, then it's found one, and by that I mean me. Artis turns to you. Will it eat me? Please, let it eat me. But it might kill you. But it might not. Artis pauses, seemingly unable to think of any other argument. Anyway, now that it's seen me, I'm sure it won't be satisfied with anyone else. Observe the behavior of the bloom tongues. You watch as the tendrils wave about, paying close attention to how they respond to those around you. Several tongues are fixated upon Matkina, tracing her movements like hounds on a scent. When she notices this, she starts pacing back and forth, while the tongues continue to follow her. Hurry it up, she mutters to you. The tongues seem confused by Artis. Some of them orient themselves toward him, and their ends twitching furiously, while others pointedly avoid him. Wow. Wow, offer the jar of iron wind to the maw. You can have the jar. Lol. You draw out the battered metal jar and hold it aloft, well within reach of the tongues. Nearby, you hear a sharp intake of breath from the speck. Is that? Risking a glance toward her, you see that her eyes are bright with wonder and also horror. She watches the movements of the tongues, and it's clear that she has no idea what's going to happen next. Several of the tongues dart toward the jar, snatching it out of your hands. They begin to twist at it, trying to pull it apart. For the first time, you realize what a mistake this might have been. Then you hear a loud buzzing sound from the metal container, as if whatever was inside has suddenly woken up. The tongues stop twisting the jar. A furious chittering and hissing answers the angry buzzing of the iron wind, droning it out, and the tongues toss the jar around like a great beast playing with its food. Then with a final violent shake, the tongues hurl the jar into the maw. The cheering and hissing rise to the climax.
I'll remember that.
And the maw opens. Nice. That's great. I'm like, feeding myself to the maw, hard pass. Feeding any of my companions to the maw, hard pass. Feeding a worthless jar to the maw, hell yeah! I'm going.
Ready.
Also, this is just crazy. We're just going into the maw. Who would have thought that's gonna be so useful? I'm just trying to be on my best behavior, but I'm really feeling like cutting all the maws open. Whoa! What the hell is going on here? The gullet? A pillar of abominations is erupting from the floor. Pus and bile drip from the tortured mangle and collect to form a moat at its base. Oh my. Monation. The man before you emanates gloom. His body is emaciated, and though he is quite tall, his hunched posture makes him appear shorter. The bags under his eyes are black and punched, and his lips are almost comically downturned. Most of the time, his body is nearly transparent, though he fades in and out of view. Terror describes every line in his body, every sidelong glance. He sees you approaching and flinches. With a shuddering breath, he straightens, smooth out his ragged clothing, and says, I am Nation. Hello? It's not like most of the others, perhaps because he's just arrived. Tell me how you came to be here? I don't remember much, he says, touching a ghostly temple with a shaking hand. I was following someone I knew to help them, cut them? His fingers pressed into and through his head, but he doesn't notice. A mob burst from the floor. I fell, heard... Felt crunching? He raises his eyes to yours. It was me, my bones, my body, but I'm still here. He stares through one of his transparent hands. Every day the bloom takes more of me. I'm fading away. There's no way out. I've been here long enough to know that. What can you tell me about this place? So he was a murderer, and the bloom wanted to yummy him. The gullet, they call it. This is where the bloom's food is digested, where feed fades to despair, where we wait to dissolve or to die. I've survived longer than the others by hiding in shadows. The ones that fight each other are always looking for prey. He covers his eyes, but you notice they are still open and his hands are transparent. I've seen such strange things here. Such horrible things. You said you see strange things. Like what? I spent the day watching a bulge move down the wall over there, he says, pointing. Though it was a tumor at first, but then I heard it sobbing, begging for help. It turns back at you. After a time, it dissolved into the wall, and the begging stopped. What other strange things have you seen? A talking wound in the floor, speaking through bubbles of pus. It promised it was an escape from this place, a tunnel to the outside. Only one of us was desperate enough to believe it. He hesitates, shaking. Robin crawled in. She said she could see daylight. Then the wound chuckled, and we heard bubbling like a pot on the boil. He closes his eyes tight. She screamed for hours and hours and hours. What other strange things have you seen? The whirlpool. There's something inside it, down below, a heartbeat, like thunder. People who stare down that hole, who listen to the beating of the heart. Ugh, they can't walk away. They lean closer, closer and fall in. They fall in smiling. What's else? Shakes his head. Nothing more. At least I will not speak of more. Very well.
Yes.
Hey, tongue cluster. Oh my. Cluster of bloom tongues sways before you. These are much like the ones you encountered in the trade post, but this time the hissing and buzzing voices are of the bloom are eager and impatient, worming their way into your mind. Somehow the bloom is trying to establish a connection on its own, without the aid of the amulet. You realize that the amulet granted you a measure of control over the voices, but now the control is gone. Allow the bloom's voices to enter your mind. The voices grow louder, slithering into the cracks and crevices of your brain, dragging forth memories that are buried deep within you. Pain lances through your head, white hot, as the tongues fixate upon a memory and try to wrench it free. Allow the bloom tongues to feed? Probably not a good idea. With a final gout of searing agony, a memory bursts into your conscious mind. A great mountain shudders above you. A sickly green glow emanates from its peak, and all around you pilgrims make their very way toward it. You recall seeing a star fall, blazing viridian in the night sky, and you knew it held an object of great power, and you wanted it. But now, as you stand on its slopes, a sudden wave of revulsion overcomes you. Why are you here amongst these people? What do you have in common with them but a siren call of curiosity? You turn and walk away. You push through the crowd, worry building in your chest. Their blank stares tell you that you're making the right decision. A few kilometers later, you stop to catch your breath. The mountain rumbles again, and it overflows with a pus-like lava, a wave of pestilence that overwhelms the crowd. The mountainside is still for a moment. And then you see the erstwhile pilgrims burst from the muck and form into military formations. Whatever becomes of them will be no part of it.
I'm ready to learn something new.
The memory ends, and the bloom tongues sag drunkenly against each other. Sated by their feast, you may be able to seize control of them now, but you sense that it will be more difficult without the amulet. Take control of the bloom tongues. Wow, I need to bump it up by 1? Let's do it.
I'm ready to learn something new.
You reach across the barrier that separates your consciousness from that of the tongues. They try to resist, but your mind is stronger and you silence them. As long as you're connected. As you maintain your connection, they are yours to command. This cluster of tongues is another tiny locus of the bloom's consciousness, extending throughout this chamber. Beyond that, their influence fades, but they control most of what happens here. And now, by extension, so do you. Send the combatants in the middle of this chamber to some other part of the bloom. Let's do it. Listening with the alien perpetual organs of the tongues, you cast about for some chittering of nearby maws. At last you find one. It's locked away inside some darkened cyst, stranded in the depths of the bloom, lost and forgotten. You force some of the slumbering bloom voices in this chamber to call out to the maw, and its own set of voices responds. Understanding your intent, the maw opens a portal on top of the battling shades, sucking them away and splitting them into the isolated cyst where it dwells. They won't find their way back here for some time, if ever. Try to sense what's happening outside the chamber. I must say, it's really nice that they're not fighting non-stop in the distance, in the background. The roots of these tongues extend beyond the limits of this chamber, where they are joined by countless more. Twisted and knotted together, they chitter and screech in a million little voices, snaking down toward something else, a vast, unfathomable presence that subsumes them all. Great pounding noises rise from the place where they all converge, lighting up all the nerves in your body with every thunderous beat. Whatever it is, it's very close. Reopen the portal to the Shrine of Sheila. You call upon the alien perpetual organs that are strewn throughout the chamber, pulsing sacks of blubber, hollow protrusions of bone, and wriggling tubules that see into other dimensions. None of them detect any sign of the portal that brought you here. The secret maw has closed, or hidden itself, perhaps, and you cannot go back the way you came. Let's break the connection to the bloom tongues. You step away from the tongues, and their voices fade. It's kinda creepy.
Done.
Done! You just can't do this, Aligar. This is creepy as heck. What is this? The mouths on this pillar are softly breathing in and out. Long streams of yellow drool flow into the depression below. Murden. It's just something we can loot. Disruption blade, medium melee. Looks kind of crap. Alright, let's take it.
Finally! Something to do!
So what is this? Fluid pumps through the giant viscera. Occasionally a large shape will pass through one of them and you dimly hear a gurgling sound or a soft moan. Murden? The down of this Murden is patchy and streaked with its uphuman blood. Glassy eyes filled with hatred stare at you, and his beak dribbles foam. It cradles a ragged bundle fiercely to its chest. As you approach, the Murden blasts a field of static into your mind. You involuntarily step back, unable to get any closer to the creature. Unlike other Murdens you've encountered, the mental blast of this one is not just annoying, it's actively painful. The Murden is clearly in feral, desperate state. Its glassy eyes suggest delirium or madness. Perhaps this as intensified its psychic abilities. Concentration. Push through the psychic noise to get closer to the murder. Wow, we can do it. The burden's mental shrieking batters your mind, but somehow you are able to overcome the pain to step closer to the murder. You can reach out and touch it from there. The murder's beak opens and closes, snapping at you in a desperate attempt to hold you off. With one hand, it tries to conceal its cloth bundle behind its back. Knock the murder unconscious. Nap its neck. Wow. That's crazy. Let's just leave it alone.
I'm going.
Seriously, that's the only choices I have? A wall of bones grows jagged and sharp, covered with tiny protrusions that would rip bare flesh.
Fine.
I suppose killing the murder is a mercy in a place like this. This fat, blubbery flesh is soft and yielding, threatening to suck you down if you try to wade through it.
I am the very soul of action.
Oh, this place is crazy. Fakes me out so hard. I don't know. Three fat arteries converge under a bridge of bone flesh, spilling a foul, sludgy mess from the other side. It empties into the pool and spirals down into an open spitcher. Step away from the opening.
Yes.
3? I suppose that's 1, 2, 3.
Go.
Show one. Okay, let's talk with this guy. I don't know why I call this tentacle.
Let's go.
Oh, a cluster of bloom tubes sprout from the floor. One of them, thinner than the rest, has developed a leak, and its vile juices flow energetically into the pool. Quick fingers tie the tube into a knot. But cannot do it. You definitely manipulate the tube, kinking it to avoid being sprayed you while you work, and you manage mostly. Few drops of the rancid stuff land on your boots. With the fluid pressure momentary relief, you expertly tie the bloom tube into a knot. When you release it, the knot holds. No more fluid leaks from this cluster. The level of the pool drops noticeably. Step away from the tubes.
Sure.
Maybe we should talk to this guy before we do anything. The spur lines the face of this ghostly figure. His aquiline features are clean and strong. His head shaven, his eyes empty sockets are bleeding, but they turn to you. Hello, he says. His voice is deep and sepulchral. I'm glad you're here. Kill me, please. It looks substantial. Could he have arrived here without being eaten? What happened to your eyes? I don't know, he says flatly. I came here too long ago, and memories are the first thing the good takes. The hope, then the senses. He looks down. All I know is that I've been here a long time. Interesting opening line. Please kill me! Why are you standing here? Listening, he says, with a slow nod in the direction of the whirlpool. Sounds like a heartbeat, doesn't it? He leans forward, ever so slightly. Sounds like peace. You ever think that standing near this thing, what's making you want to die? He goes still for a moment, considering your words. Perhaps, he says at last. Or perhaps it's the fact that I'm trapped here, and I'll never ever escape until I'm dead. But have no fear, I'm not giving myself to whatever is down there. He leans away from the whirlpool, ever so slightly. I've seen what happens to those who throw themselves into those waters. His mouth twists. They're torn apart, but they don't die. They live on as part of the bloom. We hear them weeping sometimes or screaming. And why do you want me to kill you? He looks at you, shocked, and speaks slowly. Why do I want you to kill me? Are you completely blind? Look around you. Look at this place. Do you think I want to dissolve here? The bloom is eating me, digesting me, and I'm stuck in its gut. What life is left for me? I'm more than dead. Anything would be better than this. What happens if I kill you? Then I die, I disappear. The bloom gets no more of my essence. Whatever afterlife may await us is my reward. If you don't, he falls silent, sighing. If you don't, I'll be here, fighting despair, listening to the weeping of the others, and trading hopeless words until I fade away. You shouldn't be so willing to throw away your life. I mean, like, actually, he kind of has a point. Really? He says with a scornful smile. A thread of blood spills from an eye socket, and he wipes it, leaving a blurred arc of crimson across his cheekbone. My life is over, stranger. The bloom is digesting me, and I can escape. Nothing I do here will matter. So tell me, why shouldn't I throw away my life, as you put it? What value does it have down here? What would you have me wait for? Now the thing is here, I mean, like bloom is kind of accepted as almost a force of nature. Like, you don't get mad at the tornado for tearing down your house, or maybe you don't get mad at the lightning for like striking into you. But bloom is a living organism, and it is hurting people. You are a stone in the bloom's guts. You're fighting back just by surviving. Today you feel hopeless. Who can say how you feel tomorrow? I mean, like, I would be all in for that motivational talk, like don't give up. But it kind of has a point. You might be able to get out. I mean, like, you're a half-digested ghost. You want to die. Today you feel hopeless. Who can say how you feel tomorrow? Hopeless, he snarls. That's how I feel, trapped, dwindling, dying, and you'd have me wait for that? What's the point? Falters, then sighs again. I'm tired, stranger, that's all. I want this to be over and done with. I can help you, farewell. I'm not trying to piss off the bloom. I'm just trying to find out what the hell. From a blow to the splinter in the wall, a vial makes a spews into the room, flowing down into the pool. It smells like a foul coupling of sewage and vomit. Oh my. People are really fighting here. Oh my.
I'll handle it.
I'm missing a lot. Let's go that way.
All right.
Oh my. For a moment you don't recognize the slightly transparent apparition because blood obscures her features. When she turns toward you, though, the sight of the armor and her memorable hair sparks your memory. It's Huria, the Angular Knight. She's digging at her forehead with a piece of sharpened bone, and her hands don't stop, even as her eyes focus on you. Her mind is not blank exactly, but flat like a painting with no light or shadow. Persuasion. You're a trained warrior, Huria. Surely you have the willpower to calm yourself before you do something rash. Oh my. Do it. Calm myself? Calm? I should spill your blood. No. No. You were fair to me. I need to hold onto that center, that self. You're not part of this. What's a part of this? The anger fades from her, replaced by uncertainty and doubt. She wraps her arms tightly around her body and rocks back and forth, trying to convince herself of the truth, of some truth, any truth. Illusion truth? What of my memories? What of my childhood? I don't remember. As she speaks, she gradually fades from view. Oh my.
You want it done right.
You come upon a familiar scene. More semi-transparent figures are locked in combat with one another, faces twisted in mindless rage. They seem to sense your presence and turn to regard you. This one is not like us, whispered a bloom cultist. He was not eaten by the great devourer. No, agrees a woman who is dressed in the rags of a slave. He is here for our pleasure in these final hours of our lives. She raises her weapon. Her comrades do the same, baring their teeth and hissing like animals. Damn! Artis, you need to run in. Like over there.
I'm ready. I'm always ready.
Uh-oh. Oh, Artis can attack. Okay. It's a lot of damage. Can you just hit them, hit both of them? Oh, you can't kill them. Oh, knocked them away. Can you just do some damage like this? So either I do damage to 4, like 31 damage to 4, or how much? 34 damage to 3. The question is, can we kill anyone? Which one is this? Okay, let's just go for the big boom. I might be able to even hit the one that's just in the side and not hit the big boss.
You've already lost.
Oh my, it's more like it. Can you just run back? Because for some reason you're really wounded.
Ready.
And I'd rather not see him die. Maligur, actually, looks like this would be a great time to heal up. And do we have a proper heal? We can just inside action as well. Oh no, it doesn't work. Oh, Artis needs to be healed up. You just run over there.
Alright.
You can run close-ish. He was by 6, and what else can do here? Let's heal Artis a little bit.
I could stand a little more of that.
Yeah, I know. Now great. Oh, that's nice. She has a really high dodge. Don't! Oh, that hurts. Alright, at least the last custom is not getting killed. Oh, that's more like it. That's a good first
right
turn.
where I want you.
Alright, so what can we do here? We can go after this guy, perhaps. Just go with this deck. 22. 19. Can we kill it? We can do it with the 22.
As if there were any doubt of my skill.
That's nice. Alright, there it is. What can you do? Oh, she can move too. Maybe don't move. Don't need to move. What is this guy? 24?
To action!
We can just go up in his back and possibly kill him, or at least knock him
I
away.
bet your ancestors felt that.
We can also go for some. Hit both of them. Action.
Surrender.
Ready to take on the world.
Oh, yeah. Not good. This is really
Yes.
tough.
Now.
He's the worst fighter we have. Seriously, a battle axe? I'm not even kidding. That weapon we
Yes.
found at the start of the game is the best melee weapon we have for Aligur.
Let's
It is
do
ridiculous. He's just used as a support right now. Oh, no. Wow, oh. This dead woman bears numerous stab wounds, probably inflicted by the predatory echoes that seem to infest Goulet. Judging by the scrawled maps and notes that are stuffed among her things, she may have an explorer or a... She may have been an explorer or a Bloom guide. It looks as though her belts and pouches are mostly intact. Search the corpse. You kneel down next to the corpse and let your trained eyes rove across her body. Here, a pouch seems to bulge, and your hand dips in and returns with a handful of shins. There, a pocket lies flat, and you ignore it. You realize that the guide's belt is no such thing. It's a length of a synth robe, about 50 meters long, and as you touch it, it uncoils from her waist, almost as if it were responding to your need. It coils itself toward you, and you place it among your possessions. Oh, it's like a rope. So we got a rope. We found the rope. We had to fight. This Anin's limbs are still stiff, and it stinks of decay. It appears to have been stabbed and hacked to death.
Done.
Yeah, that seems to go around here a lot. What about this? Bone emerges from the walls like sap, growing itself into fantastical shapes. Skeleton remains are scattered amongst them, slowly dissolving into the floor.
Fine.
The reef of bone is almost beautiful. Perhaps these are the skeletal remnants of the Bloom's victims, transformed by the Bloom for some purpose of its own. Maybe I should go for some heals.
Yes? Yes.
Do it.
All right.
Do it.
All right.
What are you doing?
I can breathe again.
Here we go then.
Can we use this to heal someone
Danger
else?
awaits!
Oh no. We cannot use it to heal someone else. Heal it. No, forget it. Let's continue.
What?
I want to select you, Aligur. Can you do
Fear
some
more
heals?
danger? So be it.
We need to heal up, just in case.
Yeah?
I like the just in case heals.
What? That's better.
Ah, okay. Let's go.
Of course.
Let's check out the last thing we can do here. Black stone rings. This curious object is a pair of link rings made of black stone-like substance. Together they are solid, the size of a clenched fist, but they can be disjointed and connected again, each time reforming into perfect circles. Okay,
All right.
let's go with it.
I'm
Check
ready.
out the other room. Down cluster. Oh, whoa, something died here.
It's a plan.
Anyway, I see this is a good time to take a break, so hope you guys had fun. Tell me if you did, and see you around then. Have a good one.